guys. Okay, I'm going to be explaining my project I built with Claude. This is a P&L using historical NASDAQ data, and then I did a variance analysis. Don't mind me being in my alleyway. I'm on a fire escape. And if there are alleyway noises, my computer keeps overheating, which is totally okay. I'm running a 2020 MacBook Air because this is interesting. Every time I use the little Claude Chrome plugin, it uses my local hardware sources, so it just like slows my computer down. Sometimes it's bad enough it'll crash. Interesting thing, Claude Code doesn't do that. We export our compute. Claude Code is an amazing tool I've been using. I don't know, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm running Opus 6, 4.6. And yeah, let me tell you about the project. So essentially, I made a P&L, simple P&L, just looking at some of the metrics I was interested in. I pulled data from the NASDAQ website, which was really interesting. It's not like, well, most of this isn't fabricated. Some of them are consensus, and we can see when we go all the way down to the bottom in this gray kind of text, consensus estimate, marked estimate. I actually realized I'm super jumping ahead of myself. Hi, my name's Xavier. I'm going to tell you about how I built this project. So Claude is this cool plugin feature, and the one I got to use was the finance one, and so it can run a lot of your accounting, automate these things. Yeah, pretty interesting. You should check it out. Really neat. So I'm not gonna walk through all like my text conversation. I don't think that's the most interesting. But if we look here on the right, one of the things that I did use in this project that I did learn about, I used a Claude.MD and a Skill.md file, or I attempted to incorporate it. MD just means markdown. So essentially, I think of the Claude.md file, and by the way, the Claude.md file, what it's supposed to do, and this is how I think about it, it kind of makes like a mini constitution for your conversation. So instead of, this is to help ameliorate some of the context window problems, or it didn't happen here because this was a pretty short window, and so this is where I jumped in earlier. I definitely did not need the Skill.md, and I probably didn't need the Claude.md, but I don't know, we can see what's here in my kind of file manager, in my folder right here. Yeah, I don't know, it was interesting to try and incorporate. Again, Skill.md, it's really like you're trying to make a specific skill for Claude to do each time it gets into that situation. So if you're thinking about automating something or something along the lines of that. With the Claude.md, again, because I really wasn't even working in a code base, this was more of a one-time compute rather than anything else. I mean, I'm sure I could get this so it could import a lot more live data, and then it would be a lot more useful to do, but I don't know, Claude.md still seemed like overkill, but it was cool to play around and kind of see what I could do with it. So speaking on the outputs, we can see right here, some of these are things I've uploaded. Most of this was made by Claude. And then if we go to our output, we actually see this is going to be our main deliverable, our output, which is a .xlsx file. There we go. Cool. And if we open that up here on the right, this is what we're going to get. This is where my computer's crashed like 3 times, so excuse me, but we're going to make sure this one works. Okay, cool. You know what? We're not going to do video. That's okay. You guys can hear me talk, so this is cool. Yeah, so going over what the actual output is, essentially I wanted to play around. In the startup I worked at before, I did a similar thing with simple P&L. So I was looking at some different metrics this time. We can kind of run through, this is a pretty standard revenue. We have Q4 2025 versus Q4 2024. We have variance between the two, so how much the company grew, NASDAQ, variance in percentile. And then I think this is year over FY 2025, fiscal year 2025, fiscal year 2024, so year's end. These is going to be in millions, denoted by this nice little commentary right here. We have operating expenses. Ooh, something I did learn. Okay, so at some of these bigger companies, we'll see GAAP right here. This stands for generally accepted accounting principles. So this is the standard. This is like such a throwback to financial accounting back in college, but community college. And so Yeah, we can see right here. This is really interesting. There's GAAP operating income and then non-GAAP operating income. This is seen in other parts, like right here. But there's a difference of, what would that be, $153 million just by how we kind of move things around on some of our financial sheets. I thought that was really interesting. And just again, I don't know, I've been astounded by this, by even looking at some of the, we'll see in the variance analysis in a second, but like NASDAQ makes a lot of money. 4 billion in 2025, 3.6 billion approximately in 2024. So I get it. This is making me understand a lot more. So these were the key metrics I was interested in. So revenue growth seemed like a standard one, so I chose that. Net revenue retention was an interesting metric that seemed salient in the business operations of NASDAQ, so I chose that one. This was something I haven't worked before, but still, again, 110%, wow. Good job, NASDAQ. Cool. And then gross P&L, 630 million, and then if we do non-GAAP, it's 783. So again, this could be used for so many different things, just this simple P&L. The variance analysis I'll show you is fun. This is the bulk of kind of the project. So many different tools that we could, enable. Probably internally would be the best use case for this, but oh well. Yeah, so the variance analysis, again, this is just comparing where they were at 2020, Q4 2024 versus 2025, I believe. And then so again, we get this little, at the bottom, have this little gray commentary, or I don't think I explained this before, so let me explain it. Saying in estimates, essentially I gave the permission for Opus Claude to make up estimations. It just has to denote it. So again, we have this nice big bright red thing that says, hey, estimate consensus figures are pre-earnings analyst averages. See source notes, all actuals from NASDAQ fillings. So there's estimates. These are, I wouldn't put it past NASDAQ to beat all these, but again, estimates here. Take this one with a little bit more of a grain of salt. This is really cool. We get all of these cool metrics. Again, I feel like so agentic, just being able to like go pull data out from, let me scoot over here. Hi. Just being able to go and pull data from the NASDAQ website, plug it in, and then writing a little bit of prompt, doing a little bit of prompt engineering, coding, refining the prompt, and then eventually getting an output like this. Even if I have to go and especially because I go and get to learn things, like I got to learn about the Claude.MD skill, I got to learn when and how to use the Skill.md, all these other really neat things. Okay, so just to kind of finish this off quickly, I don't know, I went and looked through these things on my own time. That was pretty interesting. We get all these neat metrics, so I don't know, yeah. And then there's a segment analysis, where essentially it's comparing Q4 2025 to Q4 2024 year-over-year growth. So 13.5% growth for a company the size of NASDAQ is very impressive. Again, this is 2,137 millions, 2.1 billion in 2025. That's cool. That's a lot. Very nice. And then some other neat metrics. So, okay. That's mostly my project. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm going to be working with some other cool projects. I'll post them in my YouTube as well. So, okay. Bye.